This is just AMZN for Friday, May 24th, 2019. Take a look at the daily here, and we had a really nice gap up. Zoom in some here. Had a really nice gap up, and normally in a gap up like this, you'd see some buying come back up, we're above the high, but the last time we did this, we did the same thing. We bought up or sold down, and we made a little more of a bullish candle, or at least indecisive candle. This one today is a little more bearish. We actually had the 5 exponential come in right here on the 5-minute. It was amazing how was it going to switch. We had this double top right here, right into our price at 1841.30, and from there it was down. Didn't quite get down to 1815, but kind of like we saw back here, we didn't actually touch 1815. On Thursday we did, but on Friday we didn't quite get down that far. But there are some great opportunities to get in bearish here, not only with this being nearly like a tweezer top, 5 cents apart on the highs, but you had the breakdown here, a retest, and a bit of an inside pennant here, inside candle pennant, and then that started to break down, and this really large candle. I mean, this was kind of the one that you wanted to be in already. You didn't want to be getting in on this candle because it could have retraced even further back up here, and a $100 stop would not have done that with an option. So, well, let me take it back. Some option would have, but that one probably wouldn't have made you 2R or something like that. So, but had a really nice level of support here that was broken with this candle. So, it makes sense that some people were buying to get out of their positions. This area here was a little bit above this kind of pre-market resistance that then became the point to break down from. I guess a little bit higher than that. Really nice indecision open. Let's see. Let's take a look again at it from yesterday. So this point was our resistance here on Thursday and here on Thursday, and that was clearly where we were breaking down. And like I was saying here, we had up here we had an inside candle. Here we had a little bit of a flag where it made some a little bit higher highs, and then these two candles 6 cents apart from the highs. So we had 5 cents apart here, 6 cents apart here, and then we had another breakdown here, and another pennant, and then we broke down again. So it happened a couple times in a row, but you see, you don't really have too many bearish candles in a row. You had 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. I mean, 4 here finally later in the day, but we actually had more buying coming in a row. Maybe not more volume, but more 5-minute candles in a row where you had this buying. So you had 3 here, 3 here, 2 here, 3 here, 5 here, 4 here, 5 here. So there 3 here and 3 here even to close the day. So just shows that there's a lot of people looking to buy down here, and that's fine and all, but it's obviously we've broken down this triangle that I thought we were going to break bullish. We've clearly not done that. We had the breakdown Thursday that has then gapped up Friday and doesn't really get much movement up. It actually makes a lower high and it sells back down. So in order to go up, in order to go bullish, we really need to get above both of these highs in here and start to trade this triangle the other direction, which we've seen happen in some cases. Let's see if they're still in here. We talked about these breakdowns. Is that a smaller one in here? Yeah, like this in here, where we have this consolidation here and do a breakdown, and then it rallies. And it's really hard to see that one zoomed in that close. Where'd it go? Right here. So we had this consolidation here, broke down, and then it rallied. And I'd still like to see Amazon take off from a low like we saw in this kind of instance, but it doesn't have to. It actually could pull back some more, and even if it, if and when it does pull back some more, I think it would raise our upside potential once you get more people loading in at lower prices. The bears getting out because they wrote it lower, and it's just right here a really good level. We don't have too much going on in here until we get down to 1747. So 1750 is a nice round number. 1800s are a nice round number. Those could be some values we pause at. I would look for it to come down to 1747 if the bearishness continues. Now, if on Tuesday, because Monday is a holiday, if we get a gap up and we can start to rally, we're going to trap a lot of bears here. It'll be similar to this, and this is going to become a double bottom, and we'll just see how we play out at the neckline. If we actually continue, pull back and retest like a double bottom we'd expect to, and then if we continue on up from there. But we're only looking at, okay, what's happening here? We have a triangle that is broken down, and it looks like it could have some more bearishness, and that's what we're seeing here, with the bearish momentum still on the increase in the negative direction. And we saw that happen back in here, where we had a triangle and we had some bearish momentum, and we had a squeeze here, and it took us sideways for a while because the trend was recovering from being bearish, the shorter term one, but it just took a while for this to play out. And then as it played out, we had this massive rally here, massive bullish move. So if we still think of this as being bullish now, and I still think this is, I think it could still have a larger pullback and still look bullish, or at least sideways. But if it does that, I would expect the bearish momentum, just to carry us back into either a sideways action like this, or a little bit lower to a really good level, like 1747 is the next really good level, possibly even, what is this price, 1728? I think it's still not letting me see that price. Right, wasn't it the issue I was having last week? 1727.80, there you go. Okay, so anyway, let's go look at a couple of candles, or a couple of options. So let's say you're getting in bearish way up here. Let's go look at puts. This is the 1825 put. When it made that double bottom, that was in the $2 to $3 range. You could have been literally buying $3 anywhere over the next 15 minutes after that, 3 by 2. And this price here, I mean, $2 still would have been further away than the 1841.30 price. But then you had a massive rally from there, from 3 all the way up to 10. Now, I don't know that you would have held on to that, or if you would have had a target at like 12, looking for it to actually come all the way down to 18.15, that would have been $10 in the money. The fact that you got in the money, let's see, on this candle, almost got there here, right? Low is 18.25. So you're at the money here, and you get into the money here on this candle. So the question is, would you have waited till the 9:45 candle? Oops. 9:45 candle, it's this one. Would you have waited to that candle, or would you have been taking some profit on this one, especially when this one starts to make a little bit lower high? That would have gone from 3 up till 6, probably. Probably could have gotten out for 3R. Had you held that, I mean, you probably could have gotten out at 8, maybe even the $9 price. And so, that's the challenge with these, to see, okay, where should this go when it's forming this double top consolidation here? And, part of it is just playing the move in that direction. And on a Friday, I mean, when you're playing the options are in that same day, they can move for you or against you very quickly. And so you got to recognize the opportunities that come up. Got to recognize the opportunities that come up that, okay, if you trade this aggressively, I could move my stop up, so I'm at 2 right now. And then this candle comes in and we only pull back in the $5 price. It's like, okay, put my stop here right at $4. If I get stepped out, even with some slippage, I should be more than 1R. I'm sorry, right around 1R, a little under 1R. If we get a continuation, then I can get my stop right here at 450 and see where my target could be. But if you just kept trailing this every time I made these big candles here, 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 my stop at this point would be at 6, which was kind of the original place to get out. Now, once it does this and it makes a bigger candle here, I mean, you've already kind of missed that bigger move, but there isn't really a signal telling you it's not going to continue to move towards 18.15 until you have this come in, the biggest bearish candle on this chart, and then this one. And I mean, these candles, they represent 54 contracts and 18 contracts and 61. I mean, it's not so much the volume of the contracts, it's just the prices that makes this look like a really, really strong candle here. But if you come back to this, you can see, okay, let's see, I got down here, and then I have some bullshit come in. And this candle, you just take this candle as it is right here, right there. Nope, that was the right one. There you go. This candle comes in. I'm bouncing off of where I rolled back down yesterday. So this candle and the small one here, even the indecision one, these are now old resistance, new support. So this is definitely a good place to be bouncing. I actually have a gap that's occurred from this candle, this close. I've gapped up slightly at the open, and I've closed above this high and this high from the previous two bearish candles. This is a candle that looks like it's reversing. It really only needs another bullish candle to say, yeah, I can definitely go that way. I mean, this one is enough to say, okay, I'm turning around here. These candles didn't do that. These didn't do that. These, none of these candles did that, with the exception of this one, getting above these 3, 4, no, all of them. I'm just looking at like 1, 2, 3. Oh no, wait, we're above all of them. This one getting above the high of at least the bearish one, which shows us to be bullish, but we're right into resistance. This one, we're not quite down to the support, but you can tell that we had some selling come in with a little higher volume here where people were starting to buy. Less of that here. This makes a pennant inside, an inside candle. And then instead of breaking down, continuing, we're reversing. So these 3 candles paint a picture of a Morningstar reversal. And we would expect it to continue bullish here, and it does. And so at this point, if you're stop here on if you're stopping the options here, you may have been hit right here. Just the amount of reversal in the option contract. That's what this is. So if your stop was about here. I mean, maybe you wouldn't have gotten stopped out on that candle, but the next one you probably would have had some slippage. Getting your stop here at 6, you've gotten in at 3, so 3 by 2, you've moved your stop up to 6, and again, you got to be watching these to do that. Otherwise, you got to set your target to something, something reasonable. 2R above, so that'd be, getting in at 3, my target's at 5, or looking for 3R or 4R, whatever's happening to trade this that day, whatever the move looks like. If you're not able to watch it, you're just setting it up to get in and come check on it later. And you could have missed getting out at the high. I mean, it's possible to get out right at the high if you glance at it and see it and are able to act right then. But if you're not able to watch it, you're likely going to miss the high, or you'll just glance at it and think, oh, this should keep going. It'll get to my target that's further away, and that doesn't happen. It reverses. Now, in this case, had you gotten out anywhere up here, even at 6, you just set your target at 6, you could have actually done that trade again. You could have gotten in here at 3, stop at 2, and that would have run up to 5 and didn't get to 6, so you would have then probably stepped out here when it came down to 2. But if you did it again right here, that goes up to 3 and up to 6, you got up to 6R. I'm sorry, you got up to 3R. And then it did it again here, getting it at 3 by 2, that went up to 6. So it actually would have worked 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and then didn't work 1 time if you had just not move your stop at all. And so obviously you'd have to be watching it all day to get in with the same trade. And so the challenge there is the mental challenge of, can I take the same setup? Again, just moments after getting stopped out, likely would have been stopped out on this one, or trailed out up here or something. And so it's like, can you take the same setup as here? Would it have worked? Would you have been, doubting your trade setup, or getting in and letting it play out the way that the chart's going to move? In this case, had you done that those 4 times, you would have won 3 out of 4 of them, and gotten 3R on 3 of them, and lost 1 on 1. So that's an 8R gain with the same setup 4 times in one day. I mean, that'd be really cool to do. So let's see now if we come back into here. It's really hard to see any bullishness. Even like a hammer like this was nice, but it didn't go anywhere. Like I was talking about buying down here. Let's see what that could have done. So that, buying calls. This is the 1825 call. So now you're out of the money here. It's the 945. Is this? No, is this? Wait. It was the 10, 15. It was this one, 1020. We started bounce. Okay. So 1020, you would have been buying here, getting in like maybe 4. No, you would have waited till you're up here. So probably 5 by 4. And that went up to 7, but that would have been, yeah, you could have done that. That would have been an aggressive trade to get in like that. That's way up. And you would have had to be paying attention to those candles to be getting out of the bearish trade into the bullish one, or just looking for it to bounce. But then again, you're going counter to the day's trend. So you want to be looking for those strong candles to move like that. So even the option, this one was making a higher high, not quite a, well, higher low, higher high, but wasn't doing the gap up like we saw on the 5 minute. So that's all right. It's just, it plays a little differently when you're looking at the option. But had you gotten in here, let's say you got in at 5, sometimes you got to fill at 5, or you're able to get in the low here, and that's about 5. So we'll call that 5, and you would have been looking for a move back up to, previous pivot here or here. This one would have worked going from 5 to 7, so that's 2R. And then 5 by 4 possibly could have worked here if you had gotten in after it pulled back and did the same thing, looking for the bounce and going from 5 to 7. Then after that, it started to kind of deteriorate. Didn't quite get back up. I mean, down here we got into the 3s, so if you would have been buying here, we would have been losing, or would have been stopped out. And then, yeah, right in here, you wouldn't have been waiting to get in at 5 because that just wouldn't have worked here. So looking for that trade bouncing wasn't working on the bullish side, but it was on the bearish side. And so the challenge there is to figure out, okay, how do you set up a plan to do that? What are you looking for? In this case, we really held a pretty good level here on the highs, from here to here to here to here. Like these were really good level. And then I think the last one was over here later in the day on the put. Right? Yeah, so at 205. 205. This was the same option value as we were seeing pretty much on these. And again, for the put, you're in the money. You're at the money right here at 1825. And so the value pulled back that much, but this was the same value as this as the Friday expiration gets within the last hour. But then for the calls, we had the value here, the low here being, what did I say, 4? 4, 5, about 5, there and there. So here and here, it was about 5, and this was out of the money. So the difference there is we're looking at 1825, out of the money here, out of the money here, and it had the same kind of this to this, and this to, well, from here to here, and from here to here, had the same kind of move. And then we come back here. Makes sense, we've held this low, but now we're out of the money. And a rally here, what is this one, 1230? So that was 1230. Yeah, we pulled. I think my recording just stopped. Let's try sharing again. Okay, the recording stopped. Let's see what happened. Let's pause it. Okay, should be back. Zoom just had to reboot or something. Sorry. So I'm not sure what interruption just happened. I'm gonna have to check the recording to see. But anyway, if this is still going, I was just pointing out that the lows here, we had a lower option value here than here, which makes sense because we're losing theta as the day is going on, and we've come back to the same level that's out of the money. And so all of this then is at the money on the call, and you're just going to lose value on that as it goes sideways. But the puts, we've actually gone from out of the money to at the money and held at the money and then been in the money. So it makes sense that those are going to maintain that level, and the calls are not. So anyway, that's what we got for this video. Hope everyone is enjoying the long weekend, and we'll be back at this on Tuesday. So this is just AMZN. Thanks.